Anyway, great to have you back here, folks. Let's go straight to the audio soundbites. Rich Lowry is the editor of National Review. He was on Megyn Kelly last night. And this is about they have a whole issue here trying to take Trump out. They've got contributors, 300, 400 words each. And the editors, noted staff columnists and writers, in a giant, singular, focused issue designed to inform people that Donald Trump is not a conservative and whatever else he is, you should not support him. He represents an existential threat. So Rich Lowry, the editor, and by the way, National Review once put me on the cover. I forget the year. It was in the early 90s. And it was called The Leader of the Opposition. And Bob Novak wrote it. The late, great Robert Novak wrote the story. Oh, they affectionately called him the Prince of Darkness. He was not a dark guy. He was a great, great guy. Robert Novak was he had that show on CNN with Roland Evans. And it was a hoot. It was a hoot to watch. They asked me to be on it, and I kept saying, no, I don't want to do it. And finally, I accepted the invitation and went over there, and Mr. Limbaugh, Rolly Evans was trying to run things by me that he just couldn't. I mean, he was the quintessential private club guy. You know, Rolly Evans, at the end of the day, you see him in the lobby of the Exeter Club with the cigar and port with a newspaper on, sitting there talking about things with his buddies. A classic. But it was a great time. But they wrote this story on me as the leader of the opposition early on in this program's life. And it was rooted, if my memory serves, I have it somewhere on one of my computer drives here. I think it was rooted in the fact that the Republican Party should take some guidance from me. The theme of the story was the leader of the opposition, meaning I was conservative. The Republican Party should start paying attention. I remember it ran not much. It was 92, I think, because I ran in. Okay, well, whenever it was, I ran into Bob Novak after he had written at the Republican convention in 1992 in Houston. It was some sort of a cocktail party. And I walked up to him, and they did not talk to me about it. They didn't interview me. I had no idea it was coming. Wait a minute. No, Novak did. No. Sorry, Novak did not write it. Novak wrote a column in 1992 that was the same theme. I'm sorry, it was a different guy that wrote the National Review cover story on me. Bowman? Was the last name Bowman? Anyway, we'll find it. But the theme was the Republican Party is not conservative enough. You need to listen to this guy. And it was, this is highlight of my career at the time. Second only to the night that I met James Bowman. I knew James Bowman, but it was second only to the night that I met Mr. Buckley, which was long after that cover ran. Well, not long after, but sometime afterwards. And so, what year was it? 1993. So, how many years ago was that? That's 23 years ago. 23 years ago. And even back then, September 6, 1993, and the theme of the story was the Republican Party should pay attention to me, what's going on, because they weren't conservative enough. And obviously they were trying to provoke the Republican Party with the cover. They provoked a lot of people, actually. But for me, it was a great honor. And here we are 23 years later. And I look at myself as having not changed. Yeah, I'm still the leader of the opposition. But in terms of the core principle, my core, I haven't changed. I haven't bent with the wind. I haven't bent and shaped and, figured out, I haven't chosen the more popular position on things and gone there. But that's not true of quite a few others. It's interesting to go back and look at the landscape. Anyway, as I say, this is, to me, in my lifetime, it's unprecedented where a political party is attempting to take out, or elements of the party are attempting to take out both of the frontrunners, Cruz and Donald Trump. Did you see, by the way, National Review had their invitation to co-moderate the next debate rescinded because of this issue? You want to talk about weird? Look, folks, you and I know the Republican establishment no more wants Donald Trump than they want Cruz. They don't want either of them, but they hate Cruz. They despise Cruz. Because they're afraid of Ted Cruz. They really do not. At the Republican Party, conservatism is an outlier. Conservatism is something to make fun of or be afraid of. Conservatism is something that you only make a pretension of accepting. But in the inner sanctum, where the people that run the show really are, you're not going to find any real conservatives in there. They're going to be laughed at and mocked and manipulated or what have you. And Cruz, they can't manipulate him. They can't, as the vernacular is, do deals with him. He's doctrinaire. He believes it. He's persuasive with it. He can articulate it. And it just scares the heck out of him. Because both things are at stake here, in a sense. Ted Cruz would demonstrate the irrelevance of the Republican Party by winning. Trump, on the other hand, they don't even think is a Republican. When you get right down to brass tacks, of people inside the Republican Party don't even think he's a Republican. They don't think he's a party man one way or the other. They think he's an opportunist, maybe engaging in a little populism here, maybe engaging in a little nationalism, but they don't think there's a Trump core outside of what's good for Trump. And if it weren't for the fact that Cruz is in there, everybody would be joining National Review trying to take Trump out. But Cruz represents the greater threat to the Republican establishment if he were to win. They've got themselves convinced. You listen to Dole, you listen to whoever, I can't remember the establishment types piping up, Lindsey Graham. I mean, they're all coming out and saying that Trump, well, yeah, we could work with Trump. They think Trump is malleable, meaning that they think they'd have their way in persuading him on things now and then. But with Trump or Cruz, they know that's a lost cause. But either way you slice it, elements of the Republican Party are trying to wipe out their two frontrunners and going so far as to say on the Cruz side that if this guy wins, I'm voting Hillary. Some of them have actually been quoted anonymously as saying that. You remember yesterday on this program, toward the end, we saw an AP story that Richard Burr, North Carolina senator, was in one of these private meetings with somebody, donors or staff or whatever, and somebody in the meeting reportedly told AP that Senator Richard Burr, North Carolina, told the group that he would vote for Bernie Sanders over Ted Cruz or Trump. I don't remember which. Find it here. Anyway, that caused all hell to blow up at the Richard Burr office and campaign. Campaign aides for U.S. Senator Richard Burr Thursday denied a report that said he had told people he'd vote for Bernie Sanders over Ted Cruz. Aides have asked the AP for a retraction. An AP spokesman said the news agency is sticking by its story. They will not retract it. Richard Burr and his people are out shouting from the rooftop, please don't believe this. I didn't say it. Senator Burr didn't say it. AP won't retract it, but we didn't say it. AP, when they are asked about it, no, we're standing by the story. We got good source. Our source told us that's what the senator said. We're sticking with it. So you can see it doesn't fly when people hear it. Richard Burr's not the only one. There are a number of Republicans who are leaking to the media via spokesman or anonymous admissions themselves, if Trump or Cruz, largely Cruz, if Cruz, oh my God, I'm out of here. We can't have Cruz. Count me in. I'm voting Hillary. I'm voting Bernie. Whatever. And it just sits there because it's anonymous. We don't know who it is actually saying it. We're told it's a prominent elected Republican in each instance. There are 4 of them that I know of. This one mentions a senator, Richard Burr. Look what happened when the news was identified and attached to an actual senator. The senator goes into gear and denies it. Why? If Ted Cruz is such a bad thing to happen, why not, when you're accused of not wanting him to be president, why not stand up and own it? Forget it's Burr. Any one of these Republicans or senators, if they're out there anonymously whispering to anybody in the media, hey, let me tell you something. I'll tell you how bad it is, they say. If Cruz gets a nomination, that's it for me, bud. I'm voting Hillary or Bernie, whoever it is on the Democrat side. Wow, can they write it down? They save it for a rainy day. Now, you think they really mean it. They're leaking it. They're saying, but when the news is reported and attached to a name, as it was with Richard Burr, what did Richard Burr do? He didn't stand up and say, you damn right. You damn right. If Ted Cruz gets this nomination, I'm out of here. That's the end of this party for me. I'm voting Bernie. I'm voting. He didn't say that. No, he ran out there and begged people. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. I didn't say it. Well, wait a minute now. He's not the only one. If it's that bad, if Ted Cruz winning is that bad that you would vote for a Democrat for president, why not own it? That's what I don't understand. If it's that bad and you're threatening to do this off the record, why not own it? Well, the answer is they're really not going to do it. They're in a state of panic. They hate Cruz for any number of reasons. He has taken them on in the floor of the Senate. He's challenged their integrity and their honesty. I mean, reasons are understandable. But to hell with party loyalty. I mean, if he gets a nomination, screw it. I'll tell you this. If Cruz gets a nomination, they will work. Some of them will work to undermine him. I mean, there's no question. And the same thing with Trump. There's too much at stake here for the Republican Party, folks. This is the point that I'm trying to make. All these age-old Jurassic Park dinosaurs, they want to hold on to their club. They want to hold on to control of the club. They want to be able to be the ones that determine who gets in the club. They want to be able to determine who is a leader of the club. They don't want to lose the club, and they don't want to lose control over it, and it doesn't matter what happens to the country in the process. This is their livelihood, as far as they're concerned. This is their careers. This is their money. This is their income. This is their future. See, when it's their future on the line and it gets threatened, then they'll do whatever it takes to protect it. When it's your future that's imperiled, resulting from policies they either don't oppose in Washington or support, you're supposed to gut it up, tough up, and understand that there are larger things we have to work on here. And then you're told you must continue to donate, you must save the party, you must support the party. And the party won't even come out and openly support you, because to do so might make them get called racists or something by the media. I'm looking at all this, and I think it's momentous what's happening here. I think it's bigger than anybody even realizes, because everybody that's talking about it is really looking at it personally. Oh, my God, what's this going to mean for me? What's this going to mean for my think tank? What's this going to mean for my magazine? What's this going to mean for my party? What's this going to mean for my committee chairmanship? What's this going to mean for... And the people, the voters, none of that is of any concern to them. The stakes for them are personal, too. And the places they have sent money and offered support, thinking that their causes and that their interests were going to be advanced or represented or defended, they haven't seen any of that. So they say, okay, fine. We're on our own. and we're going wherever we think we can best stop the Democrat Party, Barack Hussein Obama, and anybody else part of that organization. It really isn't any more complicated than that. Back in just...